Do you think this is likely to spread to other jurisdictions, perhaps in Asia and elsewhere, where Volkswagen is facing very serious diesel deception story?
Yes, I think that's likely to happen because there's an admission of guilt there that Volkswagen had to concede in order to get this settlement. And, of course, with Crown witnesses saying that top executives were involved, it also brings a lot of nourishment to claims by investors that they were hurt by information coming too late to them and making for bad decisions that cost them money. And so this could basically spread to jurisdictions around the world where there are investors who are affected. And, you know, Volkswagen is such a major blue chip in international indices that this is likely to have a worldwide effect, probably more effect in the United States and in Europe than elsewhere, but also affecting other parts of the world, of course. And that is not good news for Volkswagen.
All right. Thank you very much, Ulrich, for talking to us today on these very important market headlines around the world from DWTV for Channels Television at the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay. We've heard about the style and content of yesterday's President-elect Donald Trump's press conference. So the market's looking south as far as the U.S. stocks index concerns, pointing to a lower open today as traders eyed a number of Fed speakers and anticipating the release of economic data, and of course continue to digest the Donald Trump's press conference. Look at the numbers there, and that tells you where things are likely going to happen today, unless something happens between now and the opening bell on Wall Street. You can see about average of 0.2% across the major indices, the Dow Industrials, the S&P 500, and the Nasdaq Composite. Investors will keep an eye on a roster of Federal Reserve officials who are speaking at various events for clues on interest rates and inflation, having heard from Donald Trump yesterday. Philadelphia Fed President Patrick Harker speaks at 8:30 Eastern at the Mainline Chamber of Commerce at a meeting in Pennsylvania. On the data front, the initial jobs claims and import prices are due at 8:30 in the morning. On the earnings front, Delta Air is due to report before the bell, and Infosystems will report its earnings for fourth quarter after the opening bell on Wall Street. Okay, evening time in Tokyo. The Japanese stock market's down as dollar-yen position slipped to a one-month low after President-elect Donald Trump in the U.S. held a ruckus and freewheeling press conference that analyst says was sparse on economic policy. Details: the Nikkei 225 dropped 1.19%. Australia's ASX 200 slipped about 0.1%. In mainland China, the Shanghai Composite finished down 0.5%, and the Shenzhen Composite weaker by 0.87%. The Hong Kong Hang Seng also followed the rest of the Asian region in sympathy, 0.53% in mid-afternoon trade after initially trading positive. In South Korea, the Kospi sidestepped the rest of the region and posted 0.58%. Here in Nigeria, we are inching to the close of transactions at the debt market. The Treasury bills segment was bullish. Wednesday, the average yield contracted 17 basis points to 18.08. Investors were also upbeat at the Naira bond market, with average yield narrowing 15 points to 16.94%. So let's track today's trading day so far. Let's get across to Chioma Udu, who is a fixed income dealer with GT Bank, one of Nigeria's tier 1 commercial bank in downtown Lagos. Chioma, good afternoon, and thanks for coming through on the program.
Hello, good afternoon.
It's great to hear from you. You sounding so bullish today and upbeat, isn't it?
Yes, it is. This is as a result of flows from the excess crude that was sold into the market. So we've seen rates trend down as fixed income dealers buy assets to try and invest the funds.
How much was this money that came in from the crude oil market?
We don't have the actual figures, but we hear it's in excess of about 70 billion.
In dollars?
Or
70 billion naira?
Oh, okay. Naira, yes,
okay.
Naira. So we've seen traders go to the short end of the curve, buying T-bills. And as a result of that, we've seen rates drop, shed some points at the trading. And
this looks like a very good news after the major mop-up by the central bank earlier in the week. Today is Thursday. So give us a sense, Chioma, of what the rest of the week looks like tomorrow, to be more precise.
We're going to see a quiet market with a bullish bias. Banks are going to continue to invest those funds, the liquidity in the market. Next week, there are going to be two auctions, the bond and the bills auction. The bond auction is going to take out about 30 billion from the system, and the bills 195 billion. So we're going to see the banks and the traders try to capitalize on the auction for next week.
Very interesting and very upbeat. Keep it really bullish and smiley, Chioma Udu at GTBank, a fixed income dealer. We appreciate your time today on the program. So Nigeria will look to, thank you, Chioma. My apologies there. Nigeria will look to issue a debut diaspora bonds by March to raise funds from Nigerians overseas after the country plans to complete a $1 billion Eurobond sale this month. Nigeria's diaspora bond flotation dates back to 2013 when the country looks to raise between $100 and $300 billion. But the government at the time could not conclude appointing the book runners for the sale before an election that swept the opposition into office. The government now plans to borrow up to $10 billion, with about half of that coming from foreign sources, and seeks to boost overseas loans to plug funding gaps and lower costs. But so far, only the African Development Bank has publicly confirmed a budget support package of $1 billion for the Buhari's administration. The government has held talks for months with the World Bank and China, as well as other institutions, to fund its budget gaps. Okay, let's stick with the debt market, shall we? Africa Finance Corporation is the Pan-African multilateral institution based in Lagos, Nigeria, or headquartered here, and is likely to make a debut of US dollar Sukuk issue by early February. If the EFC makes a final decision to go ahead with the proposed debt sale over coming days, the Sukuk will be issued in 2 or 3 weeks through a private sale. A private placement normally requires less documentation than a bond listed on the public exchange. The Sukuk will be structured with a Murabaraba format, a popular cost-plus structure in Islamic finance, and the Dubai's Nasdaq platform will be used for that trading. Nigeria is not the only country looking for foreign money to support its budget. Kenya is raising $1.05 billion after the break.